Welcome to Intuitive Astrology with Molly McCord. Thank you so much for joining me today as we take a look at the astrological energies from September 15th until the 22nd. This is the final week of Virgo season, and it is also an important turning point in the energies of the year as we move into Libra season starting on the equinox, which happens on September 22nd at 3:20 p.m. That's Eastern Time. So we are moving through a time of assessment, adjustment, and deeper clarity around your priorities right now. You could feel this turning point energy within yourself. You could feel it in terms of what you want to focus on next, what you're moving towards, what you're moving into. You could just feel this as an overall shift in yourself around what you've been experiencing and moving throughout 2021. So this is a period of time when we can basically focus on what is important, what is essential, and look at where your energy is going. If you're feeling scattered or overwhelmed, it could be a wonderful time to come back to center, to come back into your body, to ground yourself in a way that calms your nervous system, calms down the overactive mind or anxiety or emotions or anything that might be coming up, and look at what you're ready to bless and release. And this is also supported as we have a powerful Pisces full moon at 28 degrees on September 20th. Now, the reason why this is a powerful Pisces full moon is for two reasons. One, it's at 28 degrees, which is nearly the end of the full zodiac wheel. The astrological signs end at 29 degrees of Pisces, where we then transition into the beginning of Aries. So when we have a Pisces full moon at 28 degrees, near the very end of the zodiac, you're completing something in a significant way. There is a cycle of release. Something is ready to be blessed and released, and this can show up for you in any part of your life. Astrologically, you would look at where 28 degrees of Pisces is in your natal chart. You would identify which house it's located in, as this is the house placement where this energy of completion is being strongly supported. So with this Pisces full moon, there is a sense of allowing something to be released and let go of so that there can be a void, which is an opening. There can be room for new space. There can be room for something else to come in, to connect, to support you, something that is in a higher alignment with where you are and where you're going. This can also be where you're able to release a part of your own energy, whatever it might be, that you have felt is ending for you, meaning an area of your own growth, perhaps a part of your own life. Maybe there are things that you just want to bless and release simply because you no longer need them going forward. It's important to trust what's coming up for you, especially in the Pisces energy of intuition, energies, what you're feeling, what you're sensing, even when you can't quite maybe touch it or put your finger on it. There's some type of message coming through around what you're ready to release because it has fulfilled its purpose for you. And this is where you can have gratitude for what you've learned, what you've understood, what has come to your full awareness and consciousness that has provided answers or understanding. And this is a lovely full moon to have gratitude for what you've been moving through or experiencing that's been very challenging or hard, and to look at what it has provided you in terms of insights and knowingness, and to allow yourself to be lighter. Allow yourself to feel the energy release, perhaps even roll off your back. Maybe it's a sense of, even tossing something up into the air or letting a helium balloon go. I mean, those kinds of visuals can help you understand what you're ready to release and to make the most of this time where we're basically opening up space. We're opening up room for the new manifestations and the new developments to show up. So with this Pisces full moon, we have an understanding of how far we've come and what we're willing to let go of. Now keep in mind, this can also be something that you've discovered about your own patterns or habits. You could let go of certain belief systems you've held. You could be releasing certain expectations or things that you weren't sure what to do with. It just feels like there's no energy there. It's come to the end of the road. You're not quite sure what to do with something. You can simply set it free. And again, that's where you're opening up space for whatever can come in next. There is powerful closure energy here, and it is an energetic transition point. So again, this is happening on September 20th, and I realize I just jumped into this energy here around the Pisces full moon because I feel like there's something that we're already aware of that is complete for us. And maybe it's felt like you've been dragging it around, like it's stuck to your ankle and you've been pulling it around and you're just done with it. You want to cut that chain. You're done with something. You want to let it go. And I feel like there's going to be support here because also that moon in Pisces is going to make a conjunction to Neptune in Pisces at 21 degrees right before this full moon is exact. And what that means is there's truly a surrender, and it's an energy that's bigger than us. And you could feel it. You could literally feel really tired or worn out. You could feel lethargic or like you just can't possibly do anything physical. There's a sense here that you might want to sleep more. You could have some strong visuals come through in your sleep or in your meditations. This is also the energy of activating that crown chakra and also allowing the transmutation of energies to occur. So I feel like what we're moving through here is a true threshold into new energies, and there are turning points within our own consciousness where you could sense something else coming up or waiting for you or on the horizon. And this can simply be areas of yourself, of your own growth, of your own personal awareness, or it could be something in your life that is showing up or something new that you've been sensing is coming forward. It feels like this Pisces full moon, because it has a very strong energy signature to it of completion and letting go. We're truly supported in surrendering in a deeper way because there's also a part of you, and this, I'm getting the image of this being a very big energy, even a bigger energy, that has more trust. There's an energy that has more trust and more faith in what you're creating and what you're moving towards next. And that allows for the completion and the release to happen in an easier way. So it feels like this energy of faith and trust and even a rising hope, a rising sense of possibility is bigger than whatever you know is being transmuted or that you're surrendering. And it could even feel like you're between worlds. This is interesting because I'm seeing the visual of globes, of like moving between different energy fields, like leapfrogging or moving from one to the next. And a part of your energy is already in the next energy field, but there were things you had to complete and let go of before you could be fully present and fully arrive in the new energy field. So I feel like this Pisces full moon is a beautiful time for any ceremony, ritual, or blessing of what you're recognizing in yourself and in your journey, and you're allowing it to be complete for yourself so that you're not, it's like not being stuck between worlds, not being stuck between timelines or different energy fields. There's this sense of, now I'm going all in to this next chapter or this higher frequency, and I'm ready to take all of my energy with me, all of it forward. And this would be a time to then look at what is not going forward with you, what is not moving into that next phase for any number of reasons. And it feels like this is information that you've already known. There's something here where it feels like there's things you've been aware of, you've been working on, healing, transitioning through, maybe even working with the energies in various ways. So it doesn't feel like it's brand new. It feels like there's more of a clear ending. And that then sets you free to move into the next energy field. So this could be a wonderful time to practice Ho'oponopono or any type of blessing of release that helps unravel or untangle any energies. And you can have energetic ties to anything. I mean, you can have those ties to a person, to a belief system, to a time in your life, to an energy, to an entity such as a company or a group. I mean, you can have energetic cords to so many things. And this could be a time when you're truly blessing and releasing what you know you're complete with, but you're doing it from a higher octave place of gratitude, of acceptance, and of love for what you've learned and understood along the way. So if there's something you've been struggling with this year, you've been holding on to it or fighting it or resisting it or having any kind of push, pull, or tension, this would be a beautiful time to have that ceremonial release of the energy. And that can simply be that's your intention. The other thing you could do is even write out a soul letter where you're writing out what you've learned, what you're feeling, what the blessings have been. You're basically giving energetic release to something. And it just feels very powerful at this time. And this could be something from years ago. You know, it doesn't matter. The timeline of it all doesn't matter. Just trust what you're feeling. Just trust what's coming up for you because there is a lot of support for it. Now, at the same time, we're also experiencing Mercury in Libra trining Jupiter retrograde in Aquarius at 23 degrees. That's also on September 20th. And when Mercury trines Jupiter, that can be a lot of information or plans, ideas, words, communications, but there's something within the energy that's hopeful, that's positive, that's exciting. It has this bubbly essence to it where there's potentially good news here that you're going to have the opportunity to work with as Mercury will be going retrograde the end of September, specifically September 26th, where it stations retrograde at 25 degrees of Libra. So we know that Mercury is already in his shadow zone, which means that things that are happening now are probably going to be discussed. They're going to come up again, reworked. They're going to be on the table for a while. Maybe that's even the details have to get figured out. The details change. One thing doesn't happen, so it shifts the other things. All of that is in play at this time with Mercury moving so slowly and preparing for the retrograde phase. So I feel like what we're really looking at here is this interesting contemplation and perhaps even a self-analysis, which would be Virgo energies, around what you're energetically complete with, because something else is calling you forward and you feel it and you sense it. And this, again, could simply be an area of yourself, where you are aware of some new traits or some new strengths you've been developing in yourself, and you feel it getting stronger and you're ready to fully move into those experiences of yourself. So this could certainly be anything in your life and in your physical world, but more importantly, it could be something within yourself that you're seeing and understanding, and you're also embracing it because you understand this is more of who I truly am now. So I'm able to release and let go of where I've been, what I struggled with, what has been driving me crazy, or what's been on my mind too much. All of that can really be transmuted during this time. So I realized I just jumped into the energies of September 20th because there's a lot happening on that day. But I want to back up a few days to September 16th, and that is a Thursday, where the Sun in Virgo trines Pluto in Capricorn at 24 degrees. And this is always a powerful day of progress, making things happen, details coming together. You could feel energized. You could have a sense of this is what I want, and this is what I'm going to put energy towards. That Sun in Virgo knows how to get things done, how to be efficient, how to solve a problem, how to make something happen. And when it connects with Pluto in Capricorn, there is a power surge. There is a boost of confidence. This is a very focused energy, and it has a sense of this is what I want. Now, what's interesting is that we also have Venus in Scorpio squaring Saturn in Aquarius at 7 degrees. Saturn's retrograde, and that square between Venus and Saturn is always some type of stop or halt. Could be a temporary blockage or something coming up that you want, but you can't have it yet. And because Saturn is always about timing, there's something here where the timing's not quite 100% for what Venus in Scorpio wants. And so she has to wait, and she has to put something on the sidelines. I feel like what this energy is redirecting us towards is the importance of how you show up in your life, how you show up for yourself, for other people, how you show up for your responsibilities, your commitments, even when it's not perfect, even when there are things that are uncomfortable or disappointing, even when there are difficulties or something is not quite figured out. I feel like there's something around this energy that's reminding us to stay in the power of potentials and possibilities, even when you're experiencing a disappointment or feeling defeated. So there's something here where we're able to harness the energy and acknowledge what is coming up that maybe was a letdown, and then regroup and say, okay, that didn't work or that didn't go as planned, but we have other options. We have other choices. We have other directions. Let's keep it going. So there is a problem-solving energy here. There is the sense of maintaining focus on what you want to achieve, even when something, again, doesn't line up or it isn't what you thought it would be, but you're connected to the bigger picture. And that actually feels like a theme over this next week, right before we enter Libra season, is that we're cleaning up our energies and releasing and letting go of things that are no longer essential or needed, while keeping a focus on the bigger picture of what does matter to you. And I'm getting the image of clearing out boxes and stuff and things that have taken up space, whether that's physical space, emotional space, energetic space, and it's clearing it out because it feels like it weighs you down. Maybe it just doesn't even have any life in it. It doesn't have anything that supports you or that energizes you. So there is this clearing out because you understand that there's going to be more that you'll call in to your space, to your energy, to your life that is going to have a higher vibration to it. And I feel like this is meant to support our ability to practice detachment at times, which is tricky because depending on how you're made energetically, emotionally, and otherwise, you might be someone who is naturally attached to things like your possessions or your clothes or what you own, also to people, also to relationships and connections. And those can be healthy attachments, absolutely, and healthy connections. But there's something very intentional about this energy where we're checking in to see, is this supporting me? Is this a healthy attachment? Is this something that gives me life, that gives me joy? Or is this weighing me down and I'm ready to let it go? I'm ready to detach. And this could be something that you are contemplating over this week. And it's vital to trust what you're feeling around it. I remember one time when I was clearing out my closet, I had this struggle with letting something go. And I realized everything in my closet, I'm going to like everything because I bought it. So obviously there's a part of me that likes it. So I had to give myself other determining questions, such as, when was the last time I wore this? And if I had to wear it today or tomorrow, would I choose this or would I not choose it? And anything that brought me into the present reality of would I choose this today or not, that was the question that decided whether I kept it or whether I let it go. And so there could be something here where you've realized how much you've changed and shifted, and there's things you just wouldn't choose today. I wouldn't choose that dress today, or I wouldn't wear that shirt today, but I really loved it a year ago. So give yourself the gift of accepting who you are today in the present moment and base your choices and decisions on that, because that's going to provide clarity and even help with decision making. So decisions are key right now. And there are areas of our lives that are no longer resonating that maybe you just didn't realize before. It could even be that you're seeing something that you didn't see for a while, or you're noticing something that's always been there. It's always been in the room, or it's always been in your life, but you've never consciously thought about, do I want this? Do I need this? Is this correct for me today? And you could have some understandings of, I just don't need all that. I just don't want all that. And this is part of the Virgo energy of cleaning up, clearing out, and doing this at an energetic level as well as in our physical reality. So as you're moving about your life, you can bring in greater consciousness here to what is surrounding you. Is it supporting you? Is it energetically correct for you? And you may realize that there's a lot of things that just no longer resonate or they're no longer needed. And so this energy is one of the gifts here of the sun's last week journey through Virgo before it moves into Libra. And this is also an important transition point when the sun moves from Virgo into Libra. Now that's because the first 6 signs of the zodiac, from Aries to Virgo, are about your own personal energies. What you need, who you are, what supports you, how you think, what you value, your self-development, your self-understanding. Then when the sun moves into Libra, we enter the realm of other people's energies, as well as how we share our own energy with others. So you're taking essentially all of your energy that's been in development and growing and thriving and what you're understanding out to others, out into the world to share it, to interact, to connect. So we start to have different experiences as we are in contact with other people, obviously. The Libra energy opens up potentials for sharing, for collaboration and cooperation, for other people who have the same values, who are on the same page, who understand what the common objective is or what is ready to be discussed or opened up. So we move from the self-focused and self-development energies of the first half of the zodiac into the second half of the zodiac, where we take that energy to others and out into the world. Now, of course, it's not all neat and tidy like that, because we are sharing our energy every day. And that could even be through social media or in person or on your phone. I mean, there's all these ways we're connecting. But when the sun is highlighting particular energies, it's supporting the characteristics and themes of those energies. It can make those energies bigger, brighter, and easier to experience. So at this time, there is a sense of, what am I cleaning up? What am I organizing, healing, getting rid of? What am I clearing out, so that I can have space and room for the next part of myself or of my life that I've already been feeling and sensing. Again, I feel like this energy has already been alive, and maybe you've already felt it. And you could have felt it through other timelines or in your dream state. You could have felt it too as a part of yourself that's been growing, getting bigger, getting stronger. And the more that you're fully moving into these energies in yourself, they come alive. You have a sense of, wow, this has really shifted for me. I've really stepped into more of this fullness of who I am, because I was able to fully let go of what has expired, what is complete, and what's no longer needed. So Mercury in Libra is making a square to Pluto retrograde in Capricorn at 24 degrees on September 22nd. And this is the same day that the sun enters Libra. We know it as the fall equinox here in the northern hemisphere. And this Mercury squaring Pluto is going to be an ongoing energy into November. So be very aware of what comes up over this week that you have to work out. Maybe there's tension. Maybe you're not on the same page as someone. Maybe you want to do one thing and they want to go in another direction. This is where negotiation is highlighted, but there could be a power struggle. And there is always an element of power and control whenever Pluto is involved. So over this next week, especially, what is being highlighted that you're going to need to massage and work through into November. And that's just a heads up to help with expectations, where if something comes up, like you have a plan or an idea and you want to take it forward, and then the boss tells you no, or someone says we can't do it right now. It could be something that you come back around to later in October or November, especially if it's something that's really important to you. But what is happening here is there is a bit of a need for higher awareness around where you're committing energy, and if it's really in alignment with what you want and where you're going, or if it's an old concept, old idea, again, going into this theme of what has expired and looking at if you're doing the same old, and it doesn't quite line up. It's not quite matching. And that's what this energy feels like of this Mercury retrograde, where there's things that aren't going to match up like they used to. It's almost like, why isn't this working? Or why isn't this coming together? It did every time before this, or it always was so much easier than it is now. It feels like this is where there is an evolutionary shift in our own ideas and expectations of what's necessary in our lives, as well as something about the people we work with. Now, the energy of interaction and collaboration is strong here, and so is the energy of work and your business life, because that Libra energy is how you work with other people one-on-one. That can be clients, customers, colleagues, partners, people that you're on the same page with. And then the Capricorn area, that Pluto in Capricorn energies, are about what is created, what is demonstrated or what's shown in the world. A Capricorn is a very public energy. It's where we see something out in the world. We understand what is being made, what's being done. It's the energy of big business. And I feel like there could be energies here that are shifting and changing some objectives. We'll call them, say, career objectives or project objectives, or you're really focused on something, you want to build it, bring it together, make it happen, and then it's not quite lining up, or it has to be revisited. And that Pluto in Capricorn is reminding us that the world has changed and the world is changing permanently. So it's no longer doing what we've always done. There is new understanding required here. And there's something about you can't rush through a process. Like you can't find that immediate fix. It feels like there's things that have to be maybe renegotiated, rediscussed, revisited. And this is an up-leveling energy that we've been talking about, where things are rising up to a new level in our lives and in ourselves. And this is where you're going to see what also needs to shift, what also needs to change. Now, this is all general information, and that's what these shows are. It's the general understanding of the energies. So then, of course, it would perhaps apply to you specifically, or it could be that it's energies that you're observing around you. But what I'm sensing here is that this Mercury retrograde, because it's strongly interacting with Pluto in Capricorn, as well as Jupiter in Aquarius, there's going to be new solutions and possibilities that come forward that weren't available before. And it's requiring us to do things differently now. And it means that we're looking at problems in a new way. We need to approach them in a different manner. And there is a requirement for new creative solutions. So if something comes to a standstill, if something is shut down or it's not working or it doesn't go any further, you could see that as an opening into reworking something in a way that fits the new energies. So I hope that makes sense, because this Mercury is about our daily lives, and we're encountering more of the ramifications and ripple effects from 2020. Where we're understanding the division of the energetic timelines, where, again, when something you used to do in 2019, it's probably not going to be the same here in 2021. So that's where this is a bigger shift. It's sort of like something is shifting permanently in how you've always done things, and maybe there aren't immediate solutions right away, but they will come through, and they're going to fit even better in this new reality and this new version of life that we're living in. So in Libra season, and with Mercury in Libra, it would be new solutions for partnerships, new types of agreements or contracts, new ways that we look for a win-win, or what does collaboration look like right now? What is best for both sides? Where is there a mutual giving and receiving? And where is it honoring and respecting the reality of the world now? So again, I feel this is a very business-centric energy where, for example, there could be many more businesses that are now figuring out the holiday season, meaning how are we going to meet supply and demand? How are we going to handle people coming here for vacations or tourists? Or how are we going to work with the current restrictions or whatever is happening in various countries and states? So there's a lot coming up here that's pushing us to find new ways of navigating our lives. And I feel like this Mercury retrograde in Libra is going to really highlight what's not working at first. Now, this can also apply to yourself, where you've learned a lot about who you are, what you need, what matters to you. And then when it comes to these Libra energies of sharing, perhaps you're aware of previous patterns you've had that you don't want to instigate anymore, you don't want to step into. For example, I mentioned earlier the energy of attachment. Perhaps it's around codependence. Perhaps it's around where you compromise yourself, you overly compromise yourself to keep someone else happy or to be in a position that someone else accepts. This is looking at where you're able to be in a healthy sense of self and show up to connect with others, where you have those healthy relationships. Instead of a perhaps codependent situation, you understand the strength of interdependence, where the interdependence is how you share and merge and connect with others, but you're not abandoning yourself, or you're not giving up your values or what you need in order for the relationship to exist. Because some of the lower octaves of Libra energy is that you will do anything for the other person. And it's this self-sacrifice that can be very unconscious. It's a self-abandonment. It's a sense of, this is who I have to be in this relationship, where you're not honoring who you are and the value of who you are is enough. And that's where the relationship needs to connect with you. This is also where the lower octave of Libra energies can be comparison, where you're always comparing yourself to others, or you're in a place of indecision and maybe I don't want this, maybe I don't want to commit to this, or maybe I'm not interested in this because I think the grass will always be greener somewhere else. The Libra energy of not making a decision, of always being in that place of in your head, overthinking, and again, comparison are energies to be aware of here because of this Mercury retrograde in Libra and because the Sun is entering Libra, where it's no longer necessary to hold back who you are, to hold back what you need, what you want, or any area of your life where you feel you have blossomed. You have fully blossomed into more of who you truly are, which maybe you couldn't even have fathomed 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. But I feel that's been the case for so many light workers, starseeds, healers, guides. You've just come into this fullness of who you are, and you're not meant to hold any of that back or dim that down. You're not meant to push it aside. You're meant to show up in your life, in your world, in your relationships in this blossomed state where you feel really clear around who you are, or at least clearer about who you are, what your gifts are, what perhaps you want to experience or do in the world. It feels like there's so many people who have stepped into this energy of themselves that's very bright and sparkly and just huge. It's almost like bigger than you could have imagined. And it feels like you. It feels like this is the truth of who I am. This is my authentic self. And that's what I want to experience in the world. That's what I want to take out into the world. And you don't want to hold that back or hold it within, especially in relationships or in connections to others or in your relationships with the world at large. So I'm feeling like this is where many people could be gaining clarity around who they are now, meaning the areas of yourself that you have learned to accept and love and honor. And you're not going to shrink. You're not going to dim down your light. You're not going to hide. There's nothing here where you have to suppress yourself, because in fact, what the world needs now are those who are bigger in their light, in their truth, in their sense of self. And I feel like that's just a really big theme right now that we're also going to feel during this Mercury retrograde in Libra. How are you honestly sharing who you are with others and not holding back or reverting back to a previous version of yourself because you think that might make someone else more comfortable? It's okay for someone to be a little bit uncertain or uncomfortable around you. That's okay. Meaning that's not your intention. But there are ways to be true in yourself without taking in that discomfort and without giving away or giving up your power. Some of you have had some really good questions about this part of your life as well. And I think I'm going to answer and discuss those questions on Monday's show, where we'll look at the energetics of being in your gifts and following your path, following your mission in a world that doesn't always understand what that is or what that even means. Because I believe this is part of the Mercury retrograde energies here that happen the end of September into October. So on Monday's show, I'm going to discuss that more within the framework of Mercury retrograde, but specifically traveling with your new sense of self and your new understanding of who you are without energetically compromising yourself, without dimming your light, without holding it back, because so many of you are here to do things differently in this lifetime. And that's part of the driving intention perhaps you've been feeling. And I think it's going to be strongly activated. And there's also this energy where it's going to be normalized. It's sort of like what we do that is definitely odd or different and not part of the mainstream. It's going to become normal. It's going to become not only normal for you, if it's not already, but it's going to be something that's more widespread throughout this decade. And I feel like part of what we're understanding is how to navigate the world being exactly who you are. And so I'm going to make a little full circle moment here that perhaps part of your Pisces full moon intentions is to release anything, and this could be at a very deep soul level, that has held you back from fully accepting your gifts, that's held you back from fully owning your energy and who you are. Anything that perhaps you've carried from other lifetimes around persecution or feeling targeted, feeling like you're going to die because of your gifts or that they're out to get you, whatever that might mean. I mean, we could have all these different kinds of messages in our psyche, but anything around those themes would be beautiful to release during this Pisces full moon on September 20th. Now, I have a video for you on YouTube that discusses that full chart, and we go through the energies of that Pisces full moon, so be sure and check that out. Because part of what you could be clearing out are any barriers that have prevented you from being in full union within yourself, where there has been something blocking a part of your self-identity or part of your own energy field. And in Libra season, we bring these components into harmony. And this also pertains to the inner harmony of the divine feminine and divine masculine energies that maybe have been separated or squashed or even just disjointed and not connected. So we have support now for bringing these energies into union. And that could also be the balance point that you've been wanting and looking for within yourself. So as always, the energies are never ending. They are always fascinating and they're always giving us something to work with, especially during this very dynamic time when the energies have accelerated and we can just move through a lot or feel a lot even within a single day. So please take care of yourself as we move through that Pisces full moon. Understand you might be tired, you might be really hungry, you might need more time to yourself, and certainly honor whatever your energy is saying to you. I will be back on Monday with another podcast episode, just as I am every week, every Monday and Wednesday. And you can also find out more about me and my current offerings over at mollymccord.online. That's where I have all of my latest astrology programs as well as business development courses. So thank you so much for joining me as always. I appreciate your time, energy, and presence. I'm wishing you a beautiful week ahead as well as a very supportive and kind Pisces full moon. Take good care and I'll see you back here soon.